Hey everyone, it's Nick again. So it's middle of January 2020, and I want to continue some Halloween ranking videos. I've been doing a lot of Halloween Kills news in anticipation of that movie coming out in October. But today I want to do a ranking that you see a lot, so it's not really original. But I want to give my ranking of the Michael Myers masks used in all the films. So there's 10 movies starring Michael Myers, and I'm just gonna, for simplicity's sake, use the main mask for my rankings in all these videos. As you may or may not know, Halloween H2O used a bunch of different masks, including a CGI mask. Yes, that really fucking happened. And a lot of the other movies, like Halloween 4 and things like that used a lot of different variations of a mask. But I'm just going to go with the main mask just to keep it simple for each movie. So I'm going to rank them from worst to best. There are 10 Michael Myers movies. So starting off at number 10 is going to be Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This is unfortunate because it's a really good sequel. There's a lot of things about this movie I love. It's a fan favorite, but the mask is so goddamn distracting. It's fucking terrible. I'm not even going to get into the blonde and pink mask that was used in a scene. That really happened. But just the overall mask, it's just ridiculous. There's no definition at all. There's a famous story that happened where they got all the masks in and they were shaded. I think they were shaded wrong or something like that, so they painted them white. But when they repainted them white, it took all the definition off the face. And what's sad is, it could be a really good mask. It genuinely is pretty creepy, but it's just so distracting because it looks absolutely nothing like the original mask. And I get it. He picked up a white mask at Vincent's drugstore. Totally get it. But for me, it's fucking god awful. So distracting, and it's a huge wart on an otherwise very good movie. So it comes in at last for me. Moving right along at rank number 9 is a tough one to rank. This is gonna be Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 mask. This one's pretty interesting because it's basically half a mask. It's kind of cut diagonally off on his face because it was burned off from the first zombie movie. This is basically hobo Michael Myers, but we're just talking about the mask here. It's a generally cool look, but as a Halloween film, I don't want to see half of his face, so it comes in at number 9 for me. Next on the list at number 8 is going to be Halloween H2O, that mask. Like I said, we're not going to talk about the CGI mask. We're not going to talk about all the other masks. But this one, I wasn't a huge fan of. It was generally just kind of an okay mask, and it would kind of land somewhere in the middle if it wasn't for the fact that it had these huge eye holes, and there were so many scenes where you just see Michael's eyes like this. I don't want to see the shapes of eyes. It takes away from the original intent of the character. So I wasn't a huge fan of that, so that's why it comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is going to be the mask from Halloween 5. Whew, this mask, it's so fucking weird looking. Just like Halloween 4, it's distracting, but in other ways, it's got the long neck mask. Everyone calls it long neck Myers. Crazy hair, it's 1989, so, maybe he's a punk rocker now or some shit like that. But this mask, once again, just distracting. I like it better than Halloween 4, which might be a little controversial. But overall, not a fan of this mask at all. So that's why it's towards the bottom of the list. Coming in at number 6. Now, from here on out, all these masks are going to be masks I genuinely can tolerate, some more than others. But for the most part, I thought they hit the mark on most of these masks, with some exceptions here. And at number 6 is going to be the mask from Halloween Resurrection. Shit movie, obviously, but the mask was pretty good. One thing that was an issue for me with this mask, which is why it falls in at number 6 and it's not ranked higher, is the eyebrows. They didn't paint his eyebrows, so he had eyebrows, brown eyebrows, kind of pointed down, and it just looked angry. His cheekbones were a little too defined, so that was a little bit distracting. But overall, the mask was the least of this movie's fucking problems, so that's why it comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is kind of a strange place to rank this one because it's A, my favorite sequel, and B, it's the same goddamn mask from the original, but we're talking about Halloween 2 from 1981. So, like I said, same mask from the original. Why is the original ranked higher? Well, a couple reasons. One, even though this was the same mask, it fit differently on Dick Warlock's face. Dick Warlock was a little stockier, a little stockier than Nick Castle, so the mask kind of stretched out a little bit. And then the second thing, it's got kind of a yellowish hue to it, and that's because for the 3 years after the original Halloween, or 2 years probably before they started shooting, it sat under Deborah Hill's bed. And Deborah Hill was a huge notorious smoker, so it kind of turned yellow after some time. So even though it's the same mask, it looks a little bit different, but it's still way better than all the others that I've already listed. So that's why it's kind of smack dab in the middle at number 5 for me. Coming in at number 4 is going to be the mask from Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Love this fucking mask. The story, we can get into all that some other time. The writing and producer's cut and all that, Cult of Thorn and all that bullshit. But the mask they really nailed. At the time, this was the best mask for me since the original. I really liked it. I thought Myers was pretty cool. You couldn't see his eyes. Just genuinely creepy. They really improved from Halloween 5 and Halloween 4. So it falls in at rank number 4 for me. Top 3, baby. Coming in at number 3 is going to be from the most recent Halloween, Halloween 2018. They did an excellent job with this mask. I have many issues with the movie overall, but the mask was not an issue at all. It's supposed to be, it's not, but it's supposed to be the same mask that Michael wore 40 years earlier in 1978. And they really nailed how it would look 40 years later. It's so weathered and just distorted and creepy, but it looks like the mask from 78 still, that it's just 40 years later. So they did a really nice job with that, and I was very impressed because I was a little concerned when they were doing a direct sequel to the original, what they were going to do with the mask, whether they're going to give him a new one or use the same one and have the same one look totally different. It does look different, but it looks like it would sitting there for 40 years. So that comes in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, Rob Zombie's Rob Zombie's Halloween remake from 2007. This mask Zombie really nailed. I thought it was really cool. It's weathered, but not as weathered as the Halloween 2018 mask. He puts it on when he's a kid, and then it sits under the floorboards, and he grabs it and puts it on. And it really fit Zombie's movie. I don't like this movie at all, to be honest, and it mostly just has to do with Rob Zombie as a writer, not really a director, because I think he's a talented director. But the mask was excellent. I loved it. I thought it was great for a remake of Halloween. Whether I wanted that remake to happen or not, they nailed the mask. So nice job, Rob Zombie. You will not hear me say that often. But coming in at number 1 is obviously going to be no surprise. The OG, the original Halloween 1978, the Shatner mask. I don't need to go into the history of this mask, just briefly. They took a William Shatner mask. They made the eye holes bigger, did a few other things, spray painted it white. Voila. You got maybe the most iconic. Jason's hockey mask is probably a little more iconic, but to me, the most iconic mask in horror history was made in Halloween 1978. The reason this mask works for me, well, it's everything really. But the thing that really sticks out for me is the daytime scenes with this mask. If you'll notice in the daytime, I've said this before in some other videos. If you'll notice in the daytime, Michael is always at a distance. Whenever Laurie sees him, she sees him so many times during the daytime, and it's really creepy. And he's always at a distance, and the mask is just perfect. And really, the first time we get a close-up of the mask is when after he kills Linda, and he picks up the phone and holds the phone to his face. That's the first time we see the mask up close, and it is an awesome moment. They really held back with it. It happened. This is maybe 30 minutes left in the movie by the time we get that close up. But it's just awesome. They really nailed it. You know, the blank, pale, emotionless face, as Loomis says. They just nailed it. So that is my ranking of Michael's masks. Let me know what your ranking is. Let me know what you agreed with, didn't agree with, all that fun stuff. So let me know. Thanks.